See, on the mis-selling, I've been speaking consistently. Banks should concentrate on their core business. I'm repeating this, and I've also said this several times to the banks themselves. From the customer side, I'm giving you a long wound answer, purposely because you have to contextualize this. From the consumer's point of view, the customer point of view, the bank deposit holder point of view, the money lending which happens with a customer, the borrower's point of view. You need banks to focus on understanding their customer, their strengths, their weakness, the business cycle, if they are personal account holders, their needs, their requirements, and so on. One of the good and noble spirit of financial inclusion, particularly in a country like ours, where banks have spread all over. It's also because of, you can say, at one point in time when nationalization happened, banks were meant to go deep into the country so that they can reach all customers. Now, from then, the emphasis has been to know your customer, reach out to them, mobilize deposit, and lend. Make your money out of what you've lent, no problem. That's core banking. Gradually, with the economy and the types of businesses growing, banks have spread themselves to do many other things, which is all right. I'm not against that. But they have reached a point, not now, a couple of years ago, they had reached a point where they did not have that comfort of the CASA money. And as a result, with the government also tightening on professional handling of the banks, performance, also making sure that the banks understand what the credit requirements are and so on, they had to keep lending. And inclusive of the aberrations which happened without checking on the security, you lent and whatever, they went on the other side too far too soon. You didn't mobilize CASA as much as you needed, or as much as there is availability. But you also went on lending, of course, lending on phone calls, lending without asset backing and so on, that you reached a stage where you had no longer the comfort of the CASA, the cheap money which you have in your account to lend. And at a time when the government was also trying to restore banks to do their jobs professionally. So banks said, government said, I clearly remember telling every one of the banks which came to me, I'm not saying all banks came to me, but every one of the banks which came to me, that I shall not give the money for their requirements. Please reinfuse or put more money into the banks. I said, I will not do that. You become a better bank that you can go to the market and raise that money. And all this simultaneously happening resulted in a situation where banks had to tie up their lace and start running the race, but kept the CASA as not top priority. So in the last few years, I've been saying banks should go out there, collect deposits, meet with people, not just for improving your CASA accounts, but that is where the customer side or the deposit holder side grievance that, one, their credit rating is not being understood by the banks. They need an outside agency to come and assess them. And when an outside agency comes, they really don't know who's who in that village. They would say, what's a, banking footprint? Take that. What is his business? Take that. Look at the economy in general. Is this business doing well? Give them a credit rating on that basis, which the individual customer felt that he's being treated very, very indifferently and not truly to his credit requirement or credit worthiness. As a result, total impersonal approach to banking set in. Today, what is happening is the banks have understood that government is not giving capital, but then they have improved their systems. They are coming and doing well. Equally, you had the story of mis-selling happening. My pet peeve has always been that you do your core banking business. You're spending more time on selling insurance, where it is not required perhaps. And conveniently, it fell between two stools. The insurance regulator felt it's not his business because there are banks which are doing it. Banks are not under him. RBI, pardon me, sitting in RBI, I'm saying this, RBI probably felt it's insurance business they're doing, so I will not come into this picture. And they were right, probably. RBI was right, probably. But in between was caught up our dear customer, the individual deposit holder, the citizen of this country, who kept saying, why am I being asked to take an insurance? When I'm giving my property, my piece of land, and taking a home loan. He wants a loan for which the property is already there. So what is he being asked to de-risk? Why should he cover with him another insurance there? He already has a life insurance. He has a health insurance. He has something else, fire insurance. So as an individual customer, you had this person worrying about one more insurance that he has to take, despite having given his piece of land for building a house, for which he's taking a loan, EMI and all that. His salary is being given for that. So I've narrated the entire background only to underline the point that I'm glad that the RBI is coming up with guidance on why mis-selling is not going to be, entertained. And I think the message should go to the banks that you cannot afford to mis-sell. And this word mis-sell, instead of offending anybody, seems to be one more word in the lexicon. Mis-sell is an offence, if you ask me. Don't ask me under which section of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But it is mis-selling, right?